Hey, good morning, everyone. This is our second topic for this second partial. Remember to leave an empty space for the topic's name, and at the very right corner, you write today's date. Today is November 4th, 2021. Before we go into any further solution of this topic, there are some definitions that we need to know and some theoretical things that we need to know. The first thing is that we will no longer, for right now, be working with equations. Now we're not going to work with an equation that has an equal sign. We're going to work with something that's called inequality. And what is an inequality? Just like an equation, an inequality is a mathematical sentence. But in this case, it compares the value of two expressions using an inequality symbol. I know that you have seen already inequality symbols, but I'm going to remind you of them. So we have four inequality symbols. We have the less than and the greater than that we're going to call open sentences. And we have the less than or equal and the greater than or equal that we're going to call a closed sentence. What's the difference between those? Well, basically it is in the graphic. One of them is going to be graphed with an open circle on top of the number that we're going to be finding. And the other one is going to be with a closed. What does it mean, a closed circle? With a painted circle. You're going to paint it. So for this topic, we are going to be using a ruler and at least one color. Color, not marker, not crayon, not ink. Color, okay, like a normal color to color a book. Okay, so let's continue with the definition. The next one is solution of an equation. Just like the of an inequality, sorry. Just like the solution of an equation, it is any number that will make, in this case, the inequality true. Now, inequalities have something that's very particular. Equations have exactly that answer, and that's it. It could be one answer, it could be two answers, or it could be, you haven't seen this, but we're going to see it further on. Many solutions that means that any number will make the statement true. But in this case, in inequalities, always you're going to have a group of numbers that's going to make true your inequality, not just one number, even though in your solution, there's going to appear one number, but due to the inequality signs, you're going to see that it depends on to which side the inequality sign goes, that how many solutions you're going to have. Now, an inequality is graphed in a number line. You got here a number line, and depending on the inequality sign is the side to which the shade extends. What shade? That's what I'm going to explain to you right now. Now, this is your number line. Remember that right in the middle, we have number 0. 0 is a neutral number. It's neither positive nor negative. And from 0 to the right, we have all of the positive numbers. 1, 1.5, 2, 2.33, 5, 100, and so on. And to the left of the 0, we got the negative numbers. -2, -3.5, -7, -11, -1,000, and etc. Okay, now we are going to graph in a number line. That's why you need a ruler. Now we will not be using every single number or every single line that you have, because let's say that we got an answer that is -27. You're not going to write 27 little lines to the right and 27 little lines to the left. Okay, no, we're just going to use one, and you're going to see that when we're solving this multi-step inequality. Okay, so let's begin with an easy thing. That was going to be x is greater than 3. We're going to graph x is greater than 3. The first thing that we're going to notice is the inequality sign. Is it one of the open ones or is it one of the closed ones? In this case, it is greater than. Greater than is an open sentence. So I'm going to find 1, 2, 3. This is 3. Since it is an open sentence, I'm going to graph on top of it with an open circle. So this means that my answer starts in 3, but it does not include the number 3. Okay, it does not include the number 3. Why? Okay, it says x is greater than 3. X is any value. Remember, it's a variable. It's an unknown value. So it could be any number. Now, is 3 greater than 3? No, right? 3 is equal to 3, but 3 is not greater than 3. So that's why it is open. Now, to which side do we have those numbers that are greater than 3? To the left or to the right? To which side do we have the numbers that are greater than 3? So we say that we have it to the right. How do we know? Because 4 is greater than 3. 7 is greater than 3. 3.1 is greater than 3. 3.0000001 is greater than 3. So that's why it does not include the 3, but it includes every number that is greater than 3. Now, I know sometimes it's hard to identify or to really know to which side it is going because we forget to which side each inequality sign will be telling us to shade. That's why we shade and we paint every side of that line. But let's see, this is a little tip that I use to remember to which side I need to paint. So let's say this is my inequality sign. You can see it, okay? I'm drawing it now in red. And now I'm going to pay attention to the arrowheads of my number line, to both corners, to both arrowheads. To which arrowhead does it resemble? Does it resemble to this one? Or does it resemble to the one of the right? You can see it in red now.
To the one of the right.
To the one of the right? Because we have the little corner. You can see we have the little corner or the little tip of the arrow at the right. And in this case, it is also at the right. So that's a little way of knowing to which side it's the shading going. Okay, at the very end, once that you have a variable, an equality sign, and a number only, then you can determine to which side it is going to be shaded. Okay, I'll do another example. Let's say, for example, y is less than or equal to -4. Okay, and I'm going to do it in blue. Now, -4. Where is -4 in my number line? So this is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. This is -4. Let's pay attention to the inequality sign. Y is less than or equal to -4. You can see that has or equal. So I'm going to graph it over here. But is it open? No, because it has that little line underneath it. It means that it is closed. So I'm going to paint the center of my point, okay? That's why it is a closed point. What does that mean? That it includes number 4. If it's open, non-painted, it does not include it. But in this case, it does include it because it says y less than or equal to -4. So in this case, y could be equal to -4. And -4 is equal to -4. So that's why it is painted. So now we're going to see to which side we're shading. Are we shading to the right or are we shading to the left? According to the arrowhead that resembles to my inequality sign, should I go to the right or should I go to the left?
Left.
To the left, exactly, because my arrowhead resembles to this one. You can see this resembles to this. So that's why I'm going to shade or to paint to the left. Okay? We're clear with this? Easy peasy, right? Okay. Let's see what goes next. It says how to solve an inequality. Well, we will keep using every single step, every single rule, and every single law that we used when we were solving equations. What does that mean? Means that we're always going to use inverse operations. that we will still be careful with the law of signs, that if there's a parenthesis, that's the first thing that we need to solve with the distributive property and the inverse operations, like I was saying, okay? However, even though we're gonna follow all of that, we have 3 specific rules that we need to comply. And what are those specific rules? Rule number 1, all of my variables need to be on the left side. Every single variable has to be on the left side. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It has to be at the left. Constants, meaning numbers that do not have a variable, will always, always, always be on the right side. So we're gonna have always constants on the left, the other way around, variables at the left, constants at the right. Always, doesn't matter my inequality sign. Now the third rule, that's a rule that sometimes students forget, but it's one of the most important ones. And it says, when a negative number passes multiplying or dividing, any of those, from the left, the coefficient is negative. It has to go to the other side. Multiplying or dividing, then we're going to reverse or flip the inequality sign. What does that mean? It means that if you have, for example, negative 2x greater than 4, that negative 2, it's multiplying the x, has to go to the other side dividing. But since it's negative, my inequality sign will no longer be greater than. It will be less than. We're going to start with multi-step inequalities all from the beginning, okay? But there's a little like figures that I want you to draw always at the top of your pages when you're going to be solving inequalities. And it is that if you have these 2 inequality signs, you're gonna graph it with an open circle. If you have like a yawning face with wrinkles, then we're gonna graph it with the painted circle. Okay, we're gonna paint the interior of the circle. Also, we are going to remember that if we have this inequality sign, it means that we're gonna shade to the right. Same thing goes with this one. And if we have the less than, or the less than or equal, we're gonna shade to the left, okay? This is something that we need to remember. The other thing is that the first thing that we're gonna identify if my inequality is open or closed. Now we got this, 2x plus 6 is less than 4x plus 22. So is this open or is this closed?
It's open.
It's an open, exactly, Marcelo. So I'm gonna write over here, open. Why am I writing open? So I don't forget at the end when I'm graphing my inequality that I need to graph it with an open circle. Okay, so let's begin. We got 2x plus 6 is less than 4x plus 22. Now, I'm gonna have to follow this rule because there's no parenthesis, so there's no distributive property to do first. I'm gonna go and say, do I have all of my variables on the left side? Now, right? I need to move this 4x to the left because the 4x was at the right, it needs to be at the left, and we're gonna follow the same thing that we have been following, which is inverse operations. If it's positive, it goes negative. So we're gonna have 2x plus 6, because that's already there, minus 4x is less than 22. Okay, step 1, we're good. Step 2, constants will go on the right side. Do I have all of my constants on the right side? No, I need to move this 6, that's positive, because it doesn't have no variable, to the right. And if it's positive, it goes negative. So now I'm gonna have 2x minus 4x less than 22 minus 6. And now we're going to simplify because we can simplify. We have like terms in each side. So 2x minus 4x, how much is that? How much is 2x minus 4x?
2x.
2x minus 4x. Be careful.
-2.
Exactly, negative 2x. Be careful with the loss of signs. Is less than, now we're going to do it at the same time, 22 minus 6. How much is that? Twenty-two minus 16. Very good. Okay, now, since we're working just like we were working with an equation, what should I do next? What should I do now that I got negative 2x is less than 16? What's my next step? What should be my next step? What is it? What's the next step? To leave the variable alone. The next step is to leave the variable alone. So that means that this negative 2 should go to the other side doing what? How should it go, that negative 2?
Positive 2.
No, because there's no sign between the negative 2 and the x. So it doesn't mean that it is subtracted.
Dividing.
Dividing, exactly. Since there's no sign between the number and the variable, it means that they are multiplying. So it should go dividing. But pay attention. It is negative 2x. According to my third rule, it says when a negative number passes either multiplying or dividing from the left to the right, we will flip or reverse the inequality sign. So in this case, I also need to reverse my inequality sign. So I'm going to have x. It's no longer going to be less than. Now it's going to be greater than. Okay, because I'm reversing my inequality sign. 16 divided by negative 2. Okay, and I reverse my inequality sign. I have to reverse my inequality sign because my number is negative. So I can say over here, divide and flip, okay? Flip the inequality sign, flip sign. I can say that, so I don't forget that I had to flip it on my next step. So divide and flip sign, and I did. Now I'm gonna simplify that. 16 divided by negative 2. How much is that?
8.
8.
16
Negative
divided-
8.
Negative 8. And we are done solving the inequality sign. We're done solving the inequality sign. We were not done with our exercise. What is the next step? The next step is to graph. If you don't graph, then your inequality or your exercise is incomplete. So I'm going to draw my number line, and you can see that it's really important for us to draw the arrowheads. And I don't want you to write every single little one and say, okay, 0, and then you wanted it. No, you're just going to choose somewhere. There, somewhere. And you're going to say, okay, this is negative 8. That's a negative 8. So you're going to carry, take your color and say, okay, it was open. I'm going to graph it with an open circle. And now you're going to decide to which side you're shading. Are you shading to the left or are you shading to the right? Pay attention to the inequality sign and pay attention to the arrow. So
To the
shade
right.
to the right, exactly, because you see, This sign resembles this arrowhead. So I'm gonna paint or shade to the right. And now my exercise is finished. Once that I graph and I shade, I finished my exercise. And this is a multi-step inequality. You can see we did 1, 2, 3, plus the flipping, plus the simplifications. It is a multi-step inequality, right? Several steps. And that is how we graph a multi-step inequality. And you can see I don't need for you to write all of the lines. I just need you to write the answer. And that's it. Okay? And that's it. And that is a simple multi-step inequality. Let's do another one. We still have time. What is the first step that I need to do in this exercise? -6 parentheses x minus 4 greater than or equal to 7 parentheses 2x minus 3. What is the first thing that I should do?
Pass the variables to the left side.
The parentheses.
The what?
Parentheses.
The parentheses, using the sturdy property. Remember, I told you, whenever you see a parenthesis, that's the first thing that you need to do. But before doing that, there's a little thing that I need to determine.
Look if it is closed or open.
To see if it's open or closed. And what type of inequality is this?
Close.
It is a closed one because we have that little line underneath the inequality sign. So it is closed. And I'm writing that just not to forget that I'm going to graph it as a closed inequality. Now I can do the parentheses with the disparity property. I'm going to multiply the -6 times the x times the -4. And on the other side, the 7 times the 2x times the -3. I can do both steps at the same time. Yes, I can. So I'm going to say -6 times x, -6x, -6 times -4. Positive?
Positive 24.
24. Greater than or equal, I'm going to place the or equal later. 7 times 2x, 14x. 7 times -3,
-21.
not 21 negative. Okay. -21. Now I can go ahead and see my rules, my 3 specific rules and my 3 specific steps. Variables go on the left side. Do I have my variables on the left side?
No.
No. So I need to pass this 14x to this side, and it goes. How? How does it go?
Negative.
Negative. So I'm going to have now -6x plus 24 minus 14x is greater than or equal to -21. What's the next step? What's the next step?
Pass the 24 to the right.
The 24 to the right, doing what?
Negative.
Negative, exactly. So now we're gonna have -6x minus 14x is greater than or equal to -21 minus 24. Okay, now we can simplify both sides. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say -6x minus 14x, how much is that? Which is -6x minus 14x.
-8. 8.
Negative
-8.
Pay attention to the rules of signs. Same sign, I, I add and I keep the sign. So it's negative $20 because I'm keeping the sign. Greater than or equal. How much is negative 21 minus 24? Negative 21 minus 24.
Negative 45.
Negative 45. Okay, what's my next step?
Divide Flip. 20 with the negative.
Have the negative and we reverse inequality sign. This negative 21 goes dividing and I'm gonna flip the sign. I'm gonna just write FS. FS means flip the sign, okay? So I'm gonna say now X and I'm gonna say less than, okay? Instead of greater than, less than or equal to negative 45 divided by negative 20, okay? What can I do with negative 45 and negative 20? I can simplify, right? And I can simplify both by 5. So I'm going to divide both numbers by 5. And I'm going to also multiply the signs. Okay, because we got negative and negative. So negative times negative. Negative times
Positive.
negative, positive. So this is going to be X is less than or equal positive 45 divided by 5, 9, and 20 divided by 5, 4. Okay, so I'm going to move this inequality sign because I didn't move it over here. And I'm going to write the number line. And I finished because we got 9 over 4. Okay, that's it. We got 9 over 4. Now we're going to graph. Okay, and I'm not passing that number into a mixed number. I'm not passing it into decimal. I'm going to leave it like that as a 9 over 4. I'm deciding that it will be over here because you can decide whichever you wanted to go. So 9 over 4. We said that it was a closed, so we're going to graph it as a closed. Okay, painted already. And does it go to the right or to the left?
To the left.
To the left. And we paint to the left. And that's it. So now before we finish, because I already took some time from you, the topic's name. The topic name will be?
Graphics.
Nope. Solving?
Solving inequality equation.
It's not inequality equations. It's either inequality or equation. It cannot be both.
Solving inequality.
What type of inequalities?
Closed and open.
Multi-step inequalities. Solving multi-step inequalities. And that's the name of this topic. We're going to continue practicing this next week. So there's now going to be today no classwork and no homework for today. But remember, you still have a homework that you need to hand in this Friday. And with that, yes.
Sí, de la classwork del lunes.
Wait.
me lo podría-
Wait, we're talking in English. Remember, we're recording the video, okay? Okay, so this is the topic for today.